Good morning, good morning, good morning. Happy New Year. Grab your coffee, heat it up there, Archie. I will heat mine. Okay. Yeah, Happy New Year. Happy 2025. What's it going to bring, eh? I hope Christmas was good for you. I hope everything went well. We didn't talk last week because it was Christmas Day and we were on the road. And Fridays was the last show we did. Just looking at the notes, what we talked about. Yeah, lots going on. Candy at hand. Yeah, get it into you. I mean, this Christmas, just been eating all kinds of cookies. Yeah, we've been. It's been unseasonably warm right now. We have no snow on the ground at all here in town. Like right here right in the bottom of the cusp, like where we're at our lowest. You just drive out of town. You just go up the hill to the convenience store, and the snow is it's that close to being the snow line. We're right at the cusp, in the cusp. But yeah, it's melting right now. We're like running around 36 degrees today. Might get up to about 38 or 39 Fahrenheit, of course, and gonna melt. Like we just had big flakes coming down, big, and they just melted as soon as they touched my car. It's completely clean. A couple little flakes that are still on it, but yeah, Christmas food. Oh, Christmas, boy, oh boy, oh boy, eh? I hope we watched Deadpool for Christmas, the first one, because my brother-in-law, he was like, "How did you like the third one?" I said, "Well, there was some things in it that I didn't get," and then he says, "Well, you've got to watch them all." So we watched the first one, and then my wife and I watched the second one. I don't have a problem with it now. I just didn't understand what it was about, so yeah, it's different. It's not the superhero kind of movie that I would that I like, but it's okay. So Deadpool was a Christmas movie. Yeah, I was going to talk about Christmas movies actually. Like I'd forgotten to do my list of Die Hard and um, all the Christmas movies that I like, that I go through every year, that I watch and everything like that. So I was telling them hey, 3 Days of the Condor is a Christmas movie, takes place over Christmas. So you can classify that. Yeah, it's how can I describe Deadpool? It's bathroom humor, like infantile, like fart joke type humor, but it's mixed in with stuff from our generation. Like he'll say something, he'll make reference, like some of the things he does or says, and you'd be like, "Oh, okay, I get it." I don't know if they just do that so that us, because we're sitting there with our kids and we're completely, out of our loop, and then they'll just throw something in that we can identify. They'll make a reference to Carol Burnett or something or whatever. I'm just pulling that out of my ass. He doesn't, but other things. So like I didn't know, but like we're watching the Deadpool movie, and it finishes. So my brother-in-law, he's letting the credits roll. He's watching the credits, and I'm like, "What are we waiting for the Ferris Bueller finish?" And he was like, "Oh, how'd you know that?" And I just it just popped into my mind, Not everybody watches the credits, right? So, and it was a Ferris Bueller ending, and if I'm not mistaken, Ferris Bueller is like a 30-something-year-old movie. Wasn't that a '90s movie when Broderick was in his heyday? Like, he was in his 30s, or uh, so that goes way back, because yeah, yeah, you're still there. Go home. The first Deadpool, like, he does that at the end, like, and he's even in the. I don't want to spoil it. I just spoiled it. I'm sorry. I just spoiled it for you. I apologize. I shouldn't have. Well, fuck it. I'm just talking about the movie, so I don't know what else I can say. Yeah, you're still home. You're still here. Go home. It's over. You know. That movie was a classic, in my opinion. The ending with Rooney and the oh yeah from Yellow, the oh yeah. You just the writing was perfect. It was a perfect, in my opinion, it was a perfect movie. You know, the writing was good. It kept you the whole way through. Yeah, yeah. Oh, what's her name? Edith. No, something McClure. McClure, like she's hilarious. She was in Cheech and Chong's next movie as the mom. Like, if you remember Cheech and Chong's next movie, a fucking hilarious movie, in my opinion. Better than the first one, in my opinion. That's just my opinion. Up in Smoke. I liked Up in Smoke, but I've always loved Next Movie. It was one of the Up in Smoke was before, and then Cheech and Chong's next movie came out when I just was, going to all the movie theaters, and we used to go and watch it at a repertoire all the time. But yeah, she's at Edie McClurg. Somehow that's the name that's running into my head. Edie McClurg. I can't remember. Anyway, but yeah, she's like, she gets high in the movie, and that's my wife calling from the ferry. So just give me a moment. She's working today. You made it safe and sound? Okay. I'm just doing my show. Everything's good. Okay. Love you. Okay. I'm glad you called. No, there was big flakes here when you left. Yeah, it's melted. It's already gone. It's already stopped, and it's already gone. So, yeah. Okay. Love you. I will talk to you tonight, eh? Remember, I got my meeting from 7 to 8. Okay. 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 Love you. Bye bye. Yeah, I always get her to, it's just a half hour up the road. She's got to drive, but I always want the call. Are you safe? Are you safe? Are you safe? Yeah. Ferris Bueller, you're my hero. Yeah. Could you make a movie like that today? Could you? Could you? I mean, I didn't mind Deadpool, but that's already an old movie. You know, there was, get by the fart jokes and all that stuff, and the what I would call locker room cock humor. Anyway, the shit that men watch and the shit that men do in the locker room, eh? Yeah, yeah, you know, and there would be something like when and we can just talk about this briefly. You know, we'll talk about all kinds of things. I don't really have any subject matter today except for Happy New Year and what's 2025 going to bring. But when I was looking at the reviews or the trailer for a couple of new movies that just came out, one being Snow White, and we'll use that term loosely, and the other one is Wicked. Now, I have not seen these movies. I've only watched the trailers and read the comments. And yeah, uh, I don't know what to make of it, but yeah, Ferris Bueller is not Wicked or Snow White, and I feel that if you have people like that young lady who's in Snow White, I can't remember her name. It's so forgettable. Um, well, one for one, okay, and this is, and I'm not, this is me looking at it as a movie and not as, you know, we've got to send a message. Like, fuck, was there a message in Aliens? Okay, check your corners. You know, the Apone line, check your corners, check your corners. Reminded me of me back in the military. But, you know, Snow White, I guess, you know, but uh, you know, first the person's got to be pretty. That's just a good. That'd be a good starter. No offense to Roseanne Barr or the rest of them, if you will, but if you're going to cast a person in a role, you've got to be reasonable. Plausible deniability is that Zegler, Disney disaster Zegler. Yeah, yeah, Zegler. Her name is, yeah. So anyway, whatever. The German Arab or whatever that is playing the Snow. Anyway, but uh, you can't. Anyway, I don't even know what to make heads or tails of it. I don't know if I don't know who's watching these fucking movies. The trailer was so bad in its own right, like it's been completely crucified, like ratioed, if that's a word, you know, for negatives to positives. But yeah, Cheech and Chong's next movie, you know, even fucking Watchmen for lack, you know, with Rorschach and the rest of them, you know, couldn't be done today. You know, sex, you know, unless you had a superhero, the Blob or something, whatever. But you know, really weird. But yeah, doing the Christmas movies thing, you know, doing the Miracle on. Archie, did you hear that Amazon did something? This is what I read. Okay, I haven't even I didn't go check the movie because I own the movie and I've watched it. And I watched a young couple, you know, one of these channels on YouTube that watch our old movies, although that was before my time as well. But A Miracle on 34th and It's a Wonderful Life are two of the iconic classics that should be viewed every Christmas, you know, in black and white in their original format. But I heard that Amazon had cut out a whole chunk of It's a Wonderful Life, which was an important part of the movie. So I don't know if that's true or not. I don't know if I guess I'll have to check it today, maybe a little later. But that just seemed really fucked up. And that's the thing right now. Like, and what I've noticed most recently, and what's going on, yeah, no surprise, is that we've got to stop uh, uh, protecting our children, for lack of, and using that word protection in quotations. You know, the trigger warnings. All of that nonsense has to stop. All of that fucking victimhood, garbage mentality has to immediately cease to exist. You know, now, unfortunately, yes, every once in a while, one or two fall through the cracks where you need intervention by an outside agency, a teacher, a mentor, whatever. When, when I'm talking about when you're coming up through the years, hazing, ritualistic type behavior, if you can look at what's the William Golding book where they kill Piggy? And the kids, it's an old book, and Lord of the Flies. Lord of the Flies. Now, with proper, like, even like if you even want to use the Blue Lagoon as an example, the kids were okay until the old guy died, and then they seem to just go for shit in a handbasket. Now there needs to be mentoring, but we need to stop coddling these people. No, you have limitations. Yeah, it's ridiculous. This is ridiculous. Like, I've been watching a jillion videos on the Facebook feed, just doing nothing. And let's see and it's basically young people who don't know how to act in public, and something, because it's always it's cop videos that I'm watching, and they're interacting with the cops and da 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 d, and I'm like, wow, these people were not raised properly. I'm not blaming the parents. What I'm saying is that we need to, whatever we're doing or have done, we need to stop, rethink, and go back. And not, I don't know, throw the baby out the bathwater, but it's ridiculous now. Everybody sees it, like everybody sees it for what it is. Pardon me. And the small percentage that don't, or want that kind of behavior, so that they're little Jimmy or little Janie. You can't protect your kid from everything. They're going to have to go out in the world eventually. And if you don't teach them right, or a little bit of adversity, or a little bit of, no, you're not the best dancer. Your parents can say how great of a dancer you are until you get out in the real world and find out that you're not a good dancer, that you're Elaine Bennis. Can you imagine? That's what we've got today. Exactly. We've got a whole bunch of Elaine Bennises out there thinking that they can dance. If you get that, and I know you do, Archie, but like, that's what we've done. Oh, you're wonderful. I was watching the victimhood mentality from victimhood video from After School again. What a beautiful website, After School. And just, they take brains and then they put it into cartoons to explain it to dum-dums like me. But it's so obvious, You're great. You're wonderful. You're great. You're wonderful. You're great. And that's all you hear. You don't do any, and then the first time you hear, well, you're a bag of shit. No wonder you shit yourself. And then you freak out and you shoot somebody or whatever, because you have no skills whatsoever. Now, I don't blame that person, like, but yeah, the system and the poor parents that have been caught in the middle. Yeah. Yeah, I went through we can talk about that. Yeah. Yeah. Obviously, this guy wasn't told that maybe doing that would be a bad idea. The latest tally I've got is 12 dead and 30 injured. That's kind of fucked up, if pardon my French. And didn't something like that happen most recently? Was it Christmas in Germany? Something with a car and yeah, it seems I don't know-ish. Like, it seems, odd. I mean, it seems odd to me because the whole ISIS angle seems odd because like we've got what most happened in Syria, that the benevolent head chopper, hand chopper, Al Qaeda, Al Nusra redo. Now he's got a suit and tie. That he's all pro-American or whatever, what have you. So I don't know why. It's a contrived event, of course. I'd like to see more on this. I mean, and then he popped out and started shooting at people. Like, I mean, this is nuts. So, Bourbon Street. Like, it just kills me that, like, where is the security? Where's the, you know, I just don't, it should not have, it's one of these things that should not have happened. Should have had dump trucks across the road, or like if you really think or know or suspect that, because it's a very easy thing to do. I've seen it happen on very many occasions where somebody gets pissed off and gets into their vehicle and just drives through a crowd of people. Shit, it happens in the construction zones here. A guy will come up on a construction zone pissed off because they're holding up traffic, and he'll just go around it or do whatever he has to. And, you know, the media didn't want to show the flag. Well, the media, they've got their, I don't know what their slant is, but, the guy's obviously nuts, but I'd like to know why he did it. We're not going to find out. It's the same thing with this CEO shooting. All the stories that are going to come out. Unless it doesn't even make sense. Like if this guy was anti-American or anti whatever, like you know but the only thing I can think of is that he was maybe a Palestinian supporter, possibly that angle. But why the ISIS thing? you know all I know is that New Year's Day should have, or New Year's Eve night day should have been a celebration, and now it's going to be shit for about half a dozen, 3-4 dozen people, because lots of people got injured. So that's just crazy. And funny enough, or not funny at all, but like interesting. Most recently, I was on the webcams of the world, and they've got a really good downtown Bourbon Street camera, which shows you, the district and everything. And there's 2 or 3 cameras, so you can just watch it. I can't imagine if I'd have been watching that and then seen all that shit, because I'm sure it's on those cameras. Yeah. Well, it's a terror, yeah, in its own right. That word has been used and bashed back and forth so much that it's, okay, yeah, it is a terror event, terrorize a whole bunch of people, and it got them freaked out. Now, what it's going to do. What it is going to do is that all parades now will have to have some kind of hard barriers, so that people cannot drive into the, or well, we'll just close the streets and not have them, because people get pissed off because they can't get to their normal routine. Yeah, I used to watch the New Orleans, because New Orleans cam is 24/7, 365. Like, it's focused right. And I always, I've gone around the world, the Tokyo one, and There's a whole bunch of webcams from around the world you can just watch, and some of them you can interact with and turn it back and forth and pan and zoom, and some of them are good quality, but that one especially is really good quality. So I wonder if anybody was filming that or watching that. But yeah, that's sad. Right on that, Christmas, it's just terrible. Bullshit. What are you doing, kitty? She's just like being herself. Cats, eh? So, what is 2025 going to bring, eh? And I just wrote this down this morning because it's the new year. I was looking at, had a couple of headlines. I've been watching everything unfold down south as we get ready for the changeover. Hey, we're going to get ready for the big changeover where everything is going to change all of a sudden and everything is going to be wonderful. Of course, I'm saying that with a big, not really. Because what is 20? Like, okay, this is the year for the Deagle. So, we've got all the Dune grifters and the Fearport peddlers that are out in fine form. This is going to happen. This is going to happen. This is, we've got a underground volcano ready to blow off the coast of America. That'll kill us all. The asteroid spaceship that's slowing down slowly, that's coming. Okay, we got that one. Good. Okay. We've got the rhetoric going around about what's going on in the sandboxes all over the place, and the people, that are. It's like we've got two people or two entities, and we've got people throwing rocks at them, poking and just throwing rocks in there every once in a while. Somebody's trying to do a routine, and somebody's doing something, trying to poke it and get it going. So, I mean, like war, aliens. How about the same old, in my opinion, that they're going to pimp fear all year. They're going to pit us against each other. They're going to do whatever they do, say whatever they're going to say. I mean, what we've got now is, and I agree with forgiveness, don't get me wrong, but now it's like, well, we'll just want to forget all of that. We just want to forget the last 4 or 5 years, please, and thank you, and let's just move forward. Yeah, I would do that too if everybody would be on board. I should let the cat out. So that's where I see it. Yeah, the wokeness, that I think that'll be there'll be a couple of things that do die off. I think the diversity, inclusion, and all that stuff, that wokeness, that woke mind virus, was just a distraction. It was just to pit us against each other, just to have something. Because when I was watching a couple of guys, they do a show. They're an offshoot of the Jimmy Dore show. A couple comedians, and they were talking about that. And that it's going to go by the wayside. Like we're not gonna give it any more press. I guess what's going to happen is the mainstream media is just going to start ignoring it, and they'll go on with whatever they're going to go on. Yeah, but unfortunately, our system doesn't allow for that. Our system only punishes who they want to punish. Why was Julian Assange in jail or incarcerated for so long, kind of stuff. whatever's fashionable. I mean, this CEO thing is almost all but dead now, you know. And it'll be a distraction for some, but it won't. But I think that all we're going to get is, if I can take away from anything from what's been going on right now, is it'll be the same old, same old. And yeah, though, anyway, those two guys, I can't remember what I was going to talk about, but the woke, the like, they pitted us against each other, and it's only because the media gives it attraction that we even talk about it anymore. I think it's going to go by the wayside, especially in the corporate world. Like, it'll slowly but surely die, you know, or there'll be a little bit of sanity come back in. Yes, free speech, all that stuff, but you're not going to see it. Oh, I don't think it'll go over the top, where if somebody does something wrong, they'll be like, okay, a little bit of common sense will come back a little bit, but only in when it's fashionable. You know, I just see it the same old, because I see that the Messiah, the Orange Man Messiah, and his disciples, as apostles, whatever you want to call them, there seems to be some kind of disagreements internally, whatever. I'm not too sure exactly, but something weird is going on with that. So, what is 2025 going to bring? I think the corporate ones are going to realize that, they're going to have to look at their model again, and get back to the basics. Hey, JC, good to see you. Nanu, live long and prosper. I don't know why I say Nanu. That's Robin Williams and Mork and Mindy, but I do. So the corporations will have to decide that, their bottom end is more important. Meanwhile, we're still going to have the distraction with what's going on right now, with all the craziness. We're going to have to get back to some plain talk. Not hurtful talk, but plain talk. You don't dance well. People, whatever we've tried for the last 20 years or whatever, if you want to put a timing on it, I can't even remember, but it has not gone well. We got to get back to the basics, get back to plain talk. Now, meanwhile, drones, aliens, Syria, the sandbox goes on unimpeded with the craziness that's going on there. And we're sitting here just trying to make ends meet. So it's very difficult. I know that 2025 is probably not going to be easy. But I mean, a lot of talk about conflict, a lot of back and forth about conflict. We've got the Barbara Ran, the song Baba Ran, that is, you replace the words, and it talks about decimating a country. Baba Ran, yes, turn it to sand, whatever, whatever. That's what seems to be going on in the background. So, what's it going to take? Aliens. Unfortunately, I see the same old going on. I don't like the ones that are gonna. Let's see what the 20th brings. Let's see what happens. And I'm still holding out a hope, but I don't know. We're halfway to 2030. Agenda 2030, all of the the long-term plans and goals that they have. We're going to get rid of this by this, we'll have this in place by this. Okay. I do believe that there are creatures out there right now on this planet that think that there are too many of us and would love to have an easier number to manage. I can say that for nothing. And with all that we've got going on right now, with the back and forth, I don't see much has changed But I do see um, what works they'll keep going with. Distraction. Don't forget they've got all the AI bots and all of the brains that have already worked all this out and find out what buttons on us to push, right? So they know all this stuff. I mean, an easy one would be the pedo distraction or whatever. And I'm not saying it's a distraction that it's not real. I'm just saying that if they want to get everybody looking over there when they should be looking over there, there's a couple things in their playbook that they can hit that'll completely garner that everybody will run to the window. Oh, look, fire truck's going by, like I am. Fucking when I was at my brother-in-law's, the view from his house, you get the whole of West Kelowna. You can see all of West Kelowna, the whole shooting match, because he's way up on the hill. Instead of binos, man, I can watch the fire trucks running around, and I could literally live on his veranda all day long and just look and people watch and stuff watch. And that's my distraction. That's all that I would have to have. But for others, let's like crap. And and what I have noticed mostly, I don't know if it's just because the algorithm has picked it up, but a lot of pundits are out, like a lot of big names that are, have all their guests and their flashy graphics and everything like that, and they're just going back and forth about the same old, same old. It's all the same old. And what I wrote here, same old, same old. Let's talk about, they'll get the Scott Ritters, the Colonel Douglas McGregors, and it's all the same guys. Or sorry, I'll just pull a couple of names out of my ass, like the Danny Haifongs, the Patrick Bet Davids, the guys with the shows, the guys with the subscribers, the accepted class of interviewer pundit that goes on. But if I've noticed anything, it's just a big circle. They all talk about the same thing. They all want you to, don't forget me on Patreon, of course, and don't get me wrong, there is a lot to talk about, but they're all talking about the same thing. Exactly. There's a couple variations on the theme, but all that I get from it is, yeah, we may be at war. We may probably kind of sort of looks that way. This is where we are, right? We're chasing our tails. I don't see a major global conflict. I just can't see it happening. It's not good for business. The corporations want you paying for their way, and the system has to perpetuate. The system has to, unless this is the denouement at hand, and we've got the risk board at hand, and we're ready to do another World War II, World War I scenario where, and I call it a scenario, not a war, just a scenario where we redivide and we redistribute all kinds of lines and peoples, and then we start again with a different system in after that. It could be that that's ready to go right now. It's possible. It's possible. And if that's the case, but I do believe that we're at a level right now that it almost seems like not everybody's happy with the way it's going to turn out, so it's not going to happen. Like if you were country, if you have country A, B, C, D, E, F, and then you've got a couple of outliers, G, H, I, J, K, L, that, yeah, they're not going to do as well as A, B, C, D, E, F, G, then they may not want to be on board with what's coming. Well, wait a minute. We're the ones that are going to have the tailing pond. or we're the ones that are going to be, have to, house all the, all of a sudden the realization is that, oh, we're going to get the shit end of the stick. How's it going in Syria? Is everybody heading back? Are all the Syrian refugees at their embassies in various Western countries ready to head back and rebuild their country now that we've done what we had to do because of the narrative? No. So yeah, we're being set up for more fear. Drone, fear the drone, fear this guy. That's what I do see for the next for 2025 is the status quo. A lot of this, a lot of Patreon begging, a lot of that's going to go on, to the accepted class of YouTube partner channel that, is acceptable in the narrative, because they don't really say anything. It's the same thing that we discuss here, and we could suppose and do the same thing like they do. So, aliens, I wouldn't come here if I were you. I would stay the fuck away. Oh, a couple things about plane crashes. Archie, I don't know if you saw the crash. JC, I don't know if you saw the crash. Whomever else is here. Mom, hi, Mom. Now, if I were an airport designer, that one in South Korea that was skidding along the runway and it looked to be fine. Yeah, I'm just going to slide down the runway until we come to an end. No, we're going to hit a concrete wall. Okay. Note to the builders of all the airports, do not put a concrete wall at the end of the runway. Put a catch fence. If that was the idea, so you don't want anybody going past that point, I don't know why you'd put a wall of concrete at the end of a runway. I'm not too sure as to why that would be. But yeah, it didn't go well for that plane. Now, I don't know the particulars of, was that a bird strike? Was that the bird strike one? Or because they're confusing the one with Azerbaijan, they said it was a bird strike. And then they said it was the Ruskies, of course. And now it's kind of gone silent about that one. Now they've said, oh, Russia's apologized, but it's not accepting responsibility. Now let's let some time play out. It could be one of those nasty things where somebody tried to do something. Now there's 30 people survived. That's probably why we're not hearing about it, because it probably didn't do what it was supposed to do. So now they're just going to try and ignore it until people just stop talking about it. What? Oh yeah, the plane crash. Oh, that was the Russians. And then they'll just move on, just like, the one that happened on the border of Ukraine and Russia. If I'm not mistaken, they just, oh yeah, that was that, and then we just move on because they don't talk about it. And that's what that guy, I don't know if I put a link, or there's a guy who's got a channel out, identifying the PSYOP, methods, if it's in the media and there's no follow-up, if it's one day only, and then they get a narrative going and then they just ignore it, then it's obviously something has gone with the story, and then they have to either ignore it. I think that, like, they're ignoring this CEO killing thing. I think there's the stories aren't, there's something more flash, like the New Year's Day thing in New Orleans will get a lot of media. That'll going to get a lot of media. You'll have a lot of pundits talking about it. How did he slip through the cracks? Same thing in the guy in Germany. How did he slip through the cracks? All that kind of talk. So, but the plane crash in Korea was sad in that I think it would have been okay if it hadn't hit anything. Because it would seem to be, we've all seen the videos sliding down. Now the Azerbaijani one, it looked like they were having some communication problems with the plane because it was doing this, So I think that they had it's the plausible. It is a plausible story that it was struck by something, or there was some outside influences that happened to the plane to cause it to come down. Now there's a lot of, why did it go over the Caspian Sea? Why did it do this? Why did it do that? I don't know. All I know is that, don't forget, we had all that incident with the martial law in South Korea, and we had the, the Boogerman stuff out of South Korea, and then we've got this plane crash. I'm not connecting them at all. I'm just saying that, okay, and the same thing that's going on down in the Slavic sandbox, that there's a lot of things going on, and then all of a sudden this happens, and it gets people looking over there, kind of, sort of. So tragedies, of course, and believe me, if they can pin it on anybody, they're gonna, if anything, to the people that they want to pin it on anyway, like the Patsy, this guy or that guy. So, but yeah, it's sad, but like a positive note, like a lot of people survived that one in Azerbaijan. Like normally when a plane careens in on the ground like that, they're not made to withstand a lot of impact, right? Right. So they're fragile things, those things that fly around in the air. Yeah. Yeah, it's amazing. Like when I did Swiss Air, like we had the Canadian National Transportation Safety Board, the the CTSB, then we had the NTSB, the Americans, because now I can't remember why the Americans came up with their full military force into our waters. Now, the story I got is that we requested them, that our government, said, hey, now, if you see these agencies that are so intertwined that they may all be working for actually one agency. And it doesn't matter if you've got a plane crash in outer Mongolia, that there'll be a group of people that show up. We call them the men in black, let's say. Okay, look like what was the movie with Chris Christopherson, Millennium, with Cheryl Ladd or whatever? It was a future space kind of alien weird movie. But yeah, so they're looking for aliens, and they're looking for reasons, and the Chris Christopherson character's looking for that little machine anyway. But that's what I mean. So when you've got these things, yeah, and then you've got outside agencies that take over. So they'll have one big agency that'll come in and say, okay, well, we're taking over now. Thanks for coming out, but we've got more investigators and we know more because we're white or whatever. I'm just pulling that out of my ass. We know more. So we're going to take this, like Swiss Air. We know more. We've got more. We're going to do it. You guys can work. And we worked, of course, alongside with the American divers. And, like that was anyway, there was a lot, there was a lot involved in that one because the cops were there. It was a crime scene. Like it was a crime. Yeah. Good point. Good point. But if I'm not mistaken, what was the Azerbaijani was an Embraer, which is a Brazilian aircraft. If I'm not mistaken, Embraer 190. And the one in Korea, I don't remember what it looked like, a Boeing. So that would be American for sure. And the South Koreans, well, that they've got that big contingency, 20 or 30,000 strong American base, right? If I'm not mistaken, in South Korea, so that's going on too as well. So I'll let some time go by for the crashes. It's very possible that the Azerbaijani aircraft was in the wrong place at the wrong time, and then if there was some nefarious activity going on, it's a very plausible scenario. I have no idea what happened with the Korean plane, except for I'm pretty sure that building concrete walls at the end of runways, have what do they have on aircraft carriers? Some kind of catching where it grabs like tail hooks or something. And I know that's not practical but in an emergency situation, instead of going and, have a fucking, like they have for the truckers here in the mountains, you have the runaways. You've got the lane that it's just like, sand and dirt that's 4 or 5 feet deep, that as soon as the truck hits it, it just stops. It doesn't matter how fast it's going. So at the end of a runway, you could have the same thing. Instead of a concrete wall, you have catch fencing or some sort of netting. Shit seems reasonable anyway. I don't know. I'm not a I mean, they're all flimsy anyway. They're going to get torn apart, but it wouldn't blow up and crash like it did, from what I can gather, at the end of that runway slide. Because I've seen it runway slides. They just slide, and then they come to an arrest, and everything comes out, and so it seems a bit like, oh, that seemed to be unnecessary, but a lot of people died, and over the holidays, that sucks, right? So yeah. Oh boy, the Christmas belly's here. Oh, I ate too much food over the holidays, eh? Yeah, so what's 2025 going to bring, eh? Let's hope for some saner heads. This is what I want. Common sense to come back. Saner heads. Somehow, all of the people that are in charge right now cannot be in charge anymore. They need to be peaceably, is that a word? Peaceably? Removed from, or peacefully removed from office and put in a rubber room and given rubber bands to play with. Just something that, I don't know, that they can't be in charge and these people are in charge now and they have the authority to clean up all of this shit because it's completely corrupt, bankrupt, backwards, criminalistic, avaricial, greedy, narcissistic type me first mentality. And don't get me wrong, like I love not me first, but a group, as long as it's like-minded. But when you've got the me first but F everybody else, like I want your garden, or I want my garden to be the only garden, so I'm going to burn yours to the ground. That's not good. That's not kosher. Travel south next Wednesday. Well, we start our journey next Wednesday to go to the mainland, or to the lower mainland, sorry, and then so next Wednesday next Wednesday's the 9th or the 8th? The 8th. There could be a show next Wednesday. It's very possible that there'll be a show next Wednesday. We'll have more subject matter. I just wanted to talk about, just a couple things. I had nothing really on the go for today. But yeah, next Wednesday is possible because Thursday we're leaving here. That's the 9th. So hang on, just close the door. The cat just came back in. It's warm enough the cat can enjoy the outdoors. She's loving it. There's no snow on the ground. You can go do your thing. So yeah, so next Wednesdays looks possible that could have a quick show. And then the following Wednesday, I will be flying from Vancouver. So yeah, then that won't, unless for whatever reason I can go live for wherever I am in some airport. You try it and see what's happening. And see if I'm there. Yeah. Yeah, just for the next 2 Wednesdays, it's going to be haphazard, but please check in, like, a couple minutes before, a couple minutes afterwards. If I can, I'll do a video saying, hey, no, it's not going to happen, or yes, it will happen. I'd like to do that. Absolutely. We'll be doing live shows from, thank you. We'll be doing live shows from Ecuador. I'll be alone, so, I'll have more time on my hands. David Cat just gave her your ass. What is it? You just need to be. Look, there's the camera there. There's the camera. So yeah, that'll beach videos. With luck, I will figure out the Wi-Fi situation down there. Now with the power and everything, with the remember the rolling blackouts, and why don't you go out of the way there? So yeah, there you go. There you go. Yeah, yeah. We'll see how it goes, but hopefully, I just saw a guy. I got to see his video. The guy who lives up the street from me, like, not even a half a mile. He's an expat. He's been down there for a long time. Unfortunately, his wife passed most recently. God rest her soul. Rest in peace. But he was out last night, New Year's. He did a New Year's Eve video downtown. So it's at all possible that the rolling blackouts are waning. I know they've got some election stuff coming in Ecuador. I mean, it's not going to go well. Worst case scenario, I steal a kayak and I start kayaking home. Oh yeah, they're ready. The Ecuadorian family are ready for Mikey to show back up and do all that. So, but yeah, so we're gonna try and next Wednesday, the one following, and then for sure Wednesdays in Ecuador for sure. There'll be a time change, so to keep it at the same time here, I'll be on your time, Archie. Ecuador's on the same line as you are, so yeah, I'll be in New York time. So it'll be in the afternoon. What are you doing, chewing my pen? Chewing the pen. What are you doing? You like chewing my pen? No, I don't want to choking on the end piece. So Okay, so Happy New Year. I hope 225 brings us some, yes, a smooth transition would be nice. Yes, and reasonable heads. Like, look, have we changed in the last 50 years? We know what has happened over the last 4 years, all the lying and the cheating and the abject, falsehoods and the pitting each other against each other. We've seen it. It's in our face. But until something happens that we have the ability to just say no, and not just like, no. I mean, no with backing. I hope for the best, but unless you've got that big guy behind you, you can use that as a metaphor. It'll have to be something big. Somebody who's going to have our back, saying, no, you're right. These guys are crooks. So, but it's like this fucking toothless UN, ICC, ICJ garbage. He's a bad man. And then that's it. But I can promise you that if I would be snatched up tomorrow because they have the backing to come get me, but we don't have the backing to go get them. You see what I'm saying? So that's what's got to change. I mean, I do believe in collective, what do you call that? General strike. Like literally, you want to stop everything moving, you want to really bring it down, then everybody, all peoples have to stop. No, we're not going to play your game anymore. At all. I don't have that any more answer than that. Yes, yeah, proof is in the pudding. So if you're, give me a reach around if you're going to do that, and that's what we've been getting. We're not even getting the reach around, we're just be getting it in the rear, you know. So, that we just got to not, no more playing like everybody, like we see in the movies. No, sir, I'm not going to use this radio to call in the airstrike. Ah, it's a movie because we don't see that guy going to Leavenworth after that. You see what I'm saying? Everybody has to be like that. Everybody, you know. But that's a lot. That takes a lot. Like, some kind of intervention. Anyway. Okay, so Happy New Year. It's at an hour. I'm glad to see you guys came out. I hope everybody who wasn't here is having a good New Year. Lawrence, everybody. I know Alan's still out there somewhere. JC, you're here. The fella Joey came last week. Who else is? Haven't seen Babalu in a while. Retro, hope you're doing well. Who else am I forgetting? Archie, of course, you're here. Happy New Year to you. JC, yeah, everybody. I just hope you have a good, quiet, especially today. Let's just try for today to get through today with no excitement, eh? Anyway, so we'll sign off. We'll say peace, love, and grooviness. Yeah. Hope to see you on the flip side. And as always, peace, love, and grooviness. Yeah. Don't trust. Yeah. What did they? What does it? There's a movie. Don't trust anybody over 30. Okay. Okay. Peace.